Welcome to Holme Horror. I've been waiting for you. The Mask of Oliver Cross. Oliver Cross was the definition of success. At 31, he was a rising star in the corporate world, managing multi-million-dollar accounts at Braxton & Stein, a boutique investment firm in Manhattan. His tailored suits, immaculately styled hair, and piercing blue eyes made him the envy of his peers and the desire of those around him. But Oliver wore his charm like a mask. Beneath it lay something far darker. To most, Oliver's apartment was a testament to his meticulous nature. The polished hardwood floors gleamed under the soft glow of recessed lighting, and the sleek, minimalist furniture was placed with mathematical precision. But if one ventured too close to his locked bedroom closet, they'd notice the faint, metallic tang that lingered in the air. Every morning, Oliver followed a rigid routine. His alarm went off at 5:30 a.m. sharp. He drank a glass of cold-pressed juice, completed an hour of cardio, and then performed his meticulous grooming ritual. To the outside world, he was the picture of control. But at night, when the city's hum quieted, the mask slipped. It began innocently enough, a fascination with power and control. His first kill wasn't planned. 2 years ago, an investment deal had gone sour, and the client, a belligerent old man, had screamed at Oliver in a crowded restaurant. Later that evening, fueled by rage and whiskey, Oliver followed the man home. He hadn't intended to kill him, at least, that's what he told himself. But when he cornered the man in the parking garage, something primal took over. The man's lifeless eyes haunted him for days. And yet, he'd felt something else, something intoxicating: power. Since then, the urges had grown stronger. Oliver's latest fixation was Sarah, a junior analyst in his office. She was beautiful in an unassuming way, her hazel eyes framed by loose waves of dark hair. She laughed too easily, often with their colleagues, and never at his jokes. Oliver didn't like being ignored. One night, he found himself outside Sarah's building, watching as she returned home. She fumbled with her keys, her laughter echoing faintly from a conversation she'd just had on her phone. Oliver's heart pounded. She didn't know he was there, didn't know how close he stood. The thought made his blood sing. He followed her inside, keeping to the shadows, watching as she ascended the stairs to her apartment. He stayed until the lights in her window went dark. The next day, Oliver was the picture of calm, sipping his espresso as he casually asked Sarah to join him for dinner. She hesitated, surprised by the invitation but flattered. He insisted, charming her with his practiced smile, and she reluctantly agreed. The restaurant he chose was upscale, its dim lighting and hushed ambiance giving the illusion of intimacy. Over the course of the evening, Oliver learned everything he needed to know. She lived alone, her family was out of state, and she didn't tell anyone about their dinner plans. Perfect. When the night arrived, Oliver prepared carefully. His tools were laid out on a plastic sheet in his bedroom: a hunting knife, duct tape, and a length of nylon rope. He checked his reflection in the mirror, adjusting his tie and smoothing back his hair. Sarah greeted him at the door with a warm smile, oblivious to the danger standing before her. Oliver stepped inside, the mask firmly in place. The apartment was small but cozy, decorated with mismatched furniture and framed photos. It disgusted him. "You've got a lovely place," he lied, his eyes scanning for potential obstacles. "Thanks," Sarah replied, gesturing for him to sit. She poured 2 glasses of wine, her back to him as she chattered nervously. He didn't hear her words. His focus was on the knife hidden beneath his blazer. As she turned, holding the glasses, he struck. The first stab was messy, glancing off her ribcage. She screamed, the sound piercing and raw, as the wine glasses shattered on the floor. She fought back harder than he expected, clawing at his face and kicking wildly. "Stop screaming," he hissed, his mask slipping as frustration took over. He slammed her against the wall, the knife sinking into her abdomen. She gasped, her strength fading, and crumpled to the floor. Blood pooled beneath her, seeping into the cracks of the hardwood. Oliver stood over her, panting. For a moment, he felt nothing but irritation. It wasn't supposed to be this messy. The cleanup took hours. He wrapped her body in plastic, scrubbing the floor until his fingers were raw. He dumped her in the trunk of his car, driving to a secluded stretch of forest outside the city. As he buried her, the thrill returned, a twisted satisfaction coursing through him. He was untouchable, a predator in a world of prey. But when he returned home, something felt off. Oliver first noticed it in the bathroom mirror. There was blood on his face, a faint smear near his jawline. But as he reached for a cloth, the reflection didn't move. He froze, staring at the glass. His reflection stared back, a cruel smile spreading across its face. "You enjoyed it, didn't you?" the reflection whispered, though Oliver's lips didn't move. He stumbled back, the sound of his heartbeat deafening. It had to be the exhaustion, the adrenaline crash. But the whispers didn't stop. Over the next few days, the whispers grew louder. At work, he saw Sarah's face in the reflections of computer screens. At home, her voice called to him from the shadows. "You can't hide," she would say, her voice dripping with malice. "You can't run." The walls of his apartment seemed to close in, the air growing heavy. The smell of blood lingered, no matter how much he cleaned. One night, as he sat in his living room, the TV flickered on. The screen was filled with static, but faint shapes moved within it. Sarah's face emerged, her eyes hollow and her lips twisted into a grin. "Do you think it's over?" she asked, her voice echoing through the room. Oliver screamed, hurling the remote at the screen. It shattered, plunging the room into darkness, but the voice remained. "You'll never be free," it hissed, closer now. Oliver spiraled. He avoided work, his perfect routine crumbling. His once pristine apartment was in disarray, mirrors smashed and lights left on to chase away the shadows. But the whispers followed him everywhere. On the final night, Oliver woke to find himself in the closet where he kept his trophies. Watches, jewelry, and other trinkets from his victims. He didn't remember walking there, didn't remember opening the door. In his hand was the hunting knife, its blade clean but cold. "Do it," Sarah's voice urged. "End it." Oliver's reflection appeared in the shards of a broken mirror, its grin wider than ever. "You're a monster," it said, "and monsters deserve to die." Trembling, Oliver raised the knife to his throat. The next morning, the police found him slumped in his chair, the knife still in his hand. The news spread quickly. Oliver Cross, the rising star of Braxton and Stein, had taken his own life. But in the corner of the room, unnoticed by the officers, a faint laugh echoed, low and cruel. And in the broken shards of the mirror, Oliver's reflection smiled. Thanks for watching. And don't forget to subscribe for more chilling stories. And remember, be careful. I'll be watching you.